You might not think of Bank of America as a top player in the credit card reward space, and 2 years ago, I didn't either. But since then, we've gone from 0 Bank of America cards in our household to 5, and we're using them all the time. They might have the best cashback card out there right now, and when it comes to earning miles, the refreshed Alaska or now Atmos cards are really compelling. So today, I want to break down the full card lineup at BoA and go deep on the entire ecosystem. If you're new here, I'm Chris Hutchins. If you enjoy this episode and you want to keep upgrading your money, points, and life, click follow or subscribe. I'm excited to continue this issuer deep dive series with Bank of America because there's so much to get excited about. I learned on a call yesterday that I've been a Bank of America customer for 28 years. I actually think they issued me my first credit card, though it definitely didn't earn points. I closed it plenty of years ago, and I haven't done anything with them until recently. We opened up our first and now all the way through to 5 cards. And despite that short time, I've spent so much time researching Bank of America for this episode. So here's what we're going to cover. First, I'm going to do a run through of the full Bank of America card lineup, putting every card on a tier list as we go so you know what to look for and what to skip. Then I'm going to talk about some of the perks and benefits of being a Bank of America customer, like free access to museums around the country. Then I'll cover the rules and other quirks of applying for cards, getting approved. We'll talk about their preferred rewards program and how it can nearly double your earnings with Bank of America cards. And finally, I'm going to touch on the new Alaska and Hawaiian loyalty program, Atmos Rewards, and why I'm really excited about it. It's a lot to cover. Whether you're new to Bank of America, have never had one of their cards, or you've been a customer for decades, I'm sure you will learn something today that can help level up your credit card game. And keep in mind, there's timestamps in the show notes, so if you want to skip around, you can. And while we don't have any affiliate links with Bank of America, there are links to all the cards we talk about and any card you're looking for at allthehacks.com/cards. I keep those up to date with all of the best deals I can find. First, I want to clarify 2 things before we get into cards. The first is that unlike a lot of other major issuers, Bank of America does not have a transferable points currency, so there's no Bank of America points. Some of the cards do earn points, but they are effectively cash back, so keep that in mind as we run through a lot of these cards. The individual airline cards do earn miles, but for the most part, everything else is effectively cash back. The second, and I said I was going to talk about this at the end, but I actually think it makes sense to move to the beginning, and that is talking about the preferred rewards program from Bank of America. And that's because it basically allows you to multiply all of your earnings on all of their cashback cards. So this doesn't work with their co-brand cards with airlines, but for all the other cards that earn cash back, you can amplify your earnings. And the way it works is it's entirely based on how many dollars you have in your balance across Bank of America and Merrill Lynch accounts. And that includes checking accounts, CDs, Merrill Lynch brokerage accounts. It could even include retirement accounts like a Roth IRA if you move it to Merrill Lynch. And how it works is they have 4 tiers: gold, platinum, platinum honors, and diamond. And I'll be honest, the diamond tier doesn't really add that much more. So really, I'm going to focus on gold, platinum, and platinum honors. So when you're in the gold tier, you get a 25% boost on all your rewards. You get a lot of other benefits like no fees and maintenance fees and some discounts on different loans. But for the most part, I'm just going to focus today on the benefits for your credit cards. So you get a 25% boost. So if you had a 1% cashback card, it would now be 1.25. And to get to the gold tier, you need at least $20,000 in your Bank of America accounts or Merrill Lynch accounts across all of them combined. And when you first join, there's usually a fast track where if you deposit that money into a new account, you can qualify quickly. Otherwise, it's based on your 3-month average. And once you qualify, it lasts for a year. And then I believe there's a little bit of a grace period after that year, and you have to qualify again. So technically, you could deposit the amount of money you need. So for gold, $20,000 for 3 months, and then pull it out and then do it again every year. But I think that the strategy here, because nobody wants to be leaving money in a checking account that earns nothing, is that if you can open up a Merrill Lynch account and you can deposit any type of investments and you could transfer investments from another brokerage, then you're able to qualify without needing to keep money in an account that doesn't earn interest or has really low rates. So that's what we've done. And in fact, you can do that with a joint Merrill Lynch brokerage account, and then both you and your partner or whoever's in that joint account name will get that same status. So once you get to $50,000, you hit the platinum tier, and that gives you a 50% boost. So a 1% card would be 1.5%. And then if you have $100,000, you get to the platinum honors tier, and that gives you a 75% boost. So I bring this up front because all of the cashback cards we're going to talk about get amplified by your status, and that amplification makes them really, really compelling. So let's jump into the first card, which is the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards Card. Now, at its face, this is a no annual fee card that earns 3% in a chosen category. However, I'll just clarify that all the 3% earnings are capped at $2,500 a quarter, so it's about $10,000 a year. And you have to pick your category, but you can change it once a month. So the categories are gas and EV charging stations, online shopping, dining, travel, drugstores and pharmacies, and home improvement and furnishings. Now, you also get 2% back at grocery stores and wholesale clubs, but that 2%, along with all the 3%, are actually combined for that $10,000 limit, which is $2,500 a quarter. After that, it is a 1% card on everything. So you're not going to earn more than 1% on anything after you spend $10,000 in those 2 and 3% categories. However, like I mentioned, if you have Bank of America's Platinum Honors, and I'll give all of my examples with Platinum Honors, but of course, if you have Gold or Platinum, you'd get that multiple as well. So in this case, if you're earning 3% on, let's say, gas and EV charging, but you have Platinum Honors, you're actually earning 5.25% because you take 3 times 1.75. So it could be a really compelling card for any of those categories, but only up to $10,000 of spend a year. However, right now, the sign-up bonus not only is $200 after spending $1,000 in 90 days, not only is also a 0% intro APR for 15 months, but they're offering 6% cash back in the category of your choice for the first year. So how that works is when you choose that category, they're going to give you an extra 3%. Now, you don't earn the Platinum Honors boost on that extra 3%, and that extra 3% is also capped at $2,500 a quarter or $10,000 a year. But that means that in the first year, this could be a really compelling card because you'd earn 5.25% plus the 3% from the sign-up bonus promo. So you'd technically be earning 8.25% if you have Platinum Honors and you spend the full $10,000 in one of those 3% categories. So it can be pretty interesting. I know a lot of people that have somehow managed to accumulate multiple of these cards. So then you might have $20,000 or $30,000 of spend in that 3 or 5.25% category with Platinum Honors. And so pretty interesting. Outside of that, it's not that compelling. It does have no annual fee, but it does have a 3% foreign transaction fee. And like I said, it's 1% on everything else. Now, there are a couple variations of this card. There's a for students version, which effectively looks like it's the same card. And then there's a secured version of this card, which has no sign-up bonus, no intro APR, and requires a deposit. And then there's the Susan G. Komen version of this card, which is effectively the same card, but it supports the Susan G. Komen Foundation. So you're helping fight breast cancer. And on top of that, $200 a year is donated when you open that card to the foundation, up to a total of $100,000 a year for Bank of America. Plus, it sounds like they donate $3 a year for having this card to the foundation, plus 0.08% of all purchases. So I guess if you're going to get this card, it has the same sign-up bonus, has the same earning potential. I don't see any reason not to get the Susan G. Komen version. Definitely supports breast cancer research, so seems like a great alternative. And arguably, you could say that would bump the card up. As for the tier for this card, for anyone not familiar with the tier list, it's going to go from S tier, which is the best, to A, B, C, D. So I'm going to put this card at the B tier. And that's not because I don't love the idea of getting 3% on a bunch of select categories. And with Platinum Honors, it goes up to 5.25%. But it's because of the cap of that earning of $10,000 a year. Now, you'll learn in the next card that you have the ability with Bank of America to get a earning of 2.625% with that same Platinum Honor status across all your purchases. So the additional 2.625% here for $10,000 is really only $262.50. So for a card to be an S or an A tier card, I think it needs to add real tremendous value. I'm not saying if I didn't have this card, I wouldn't use it up to that $10,000 maximum. I'm just saying it's hard for me to put this card any higher, given that the upside over an alternative card is really only a few $100s. I'm also going to put the Susan G. Komen card up at the B tier, though between the two, I would always pick that card because you could have more impact for the exact same benefits and perks of the card. This episode is brought to you by Gusto. I love running my own business, but I don't love all the hassle that comes with managing payroll, benefits, and HR, which is why for the last 3 companies I've had, we used Gusto, and I'm using it again today for my business. Gusto is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all-in-one, remote-friendly, and incredibly easy to use, so you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. But they also do automatic payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, health benefits, commuter benefits, workers' comp, 401k, and so much more. And when it comes time to managing new hires, you can save so much time with automated tools for offer letters, onboarding materials, direct deposit, and more. Or if you ever need help with a tough HR situation, Gusto gives you direct access to certified HR experts. It's no surprise that Gusto is the #1 payroll software according to G2 and is trusted by over 400,000 small businesses. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/allthehacks and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/allthehacks. One more time, gusto.com/allthehacks. This episode is brought to you by Gelt. When it comes to building wealth, taxes are such a big part of the strategy. And as tax time gets closer, getting prepared is so important. And now that I'm working with Gelt, I finally feel like I have a partner I can trust to handle everything for my personal and business taxes. Think of Gelt as the ultimate modern CPA. Of course, they have an in-house team of expert CPAs to work with who can help you determine the most effective tax strategies to minimize risk and grow your wealth. But they also have an amazing tech platform that gives you personalized guidance to maximize deductions, tax credits, and savings. It also has a document vault where you can upload all your files and tag them with relevant years and even see when your team has reviewed them. Beyond that, the tax library you get access to as a client has dozens of in-depth guides on things like choosing retirement plans, taxes for new parents, qualified business income or QBI, and so much more. So if you're ready for a more premium, proactive tax strategy to optimize and file your taxes, you have to check out Gelt. And as an All the Hacks listener, you can skip the waitlist. Just head to allthehacks.com/Gelt, G-E-L-T. Again, that's allthehacks.com/GELT to stop overpaying on taxes. Okay, the next card is very straightforward. I just mentioned it. It's the unlimited cash card, and it earns a simple 1.5% on everything. Though if I look at my table for preferred rewards, it's 2.625% on absolutely everything. If you have platinum honors, if you're at gold, it's 1.875%. And if you're at platinum, it's 2.25%. So I think I'm going to review a lot of these cards, assuming that you have the ability to move enough funds over to hit that platinum honor status. And if you don't, that's not to say these cards aren't compelling, but if you look at this one, if you can't move funds over, 1.5% on everything is not as exciting as the Citi Double Cash card, where you'll get 2% on everything. But if moving $100,000 of investments to Bank of America isn't a challenge for you, and by Bank of America, I mean Merrill Lynch, then this becomes a 2.625% card, which is significantly more compelling than a 2% card. And then I'll talk about another card that's even better than that. So this card has no annual fee, 3% foreign transaction fees, and right now the sign-up bonus isn't that exciting. It's $200 after spending $1,000 in 90 days, and a 0% intro APR for 15 months. So when I think about this card on the tier list, if you have platinum honor status, we're talking 2.625% on everything, which might be one of the best cashback cards out there now that the Smartly card has kind of been nerfed and kind of devalued a bit, and there just aren't a lot of other options. So I'm going to put this at the A tier because I really like this card. However, I do think there's a better option coming up. There's a student version of this card that's effectively the same, and then there's a secured version with no sign-up bonus and no intro APR and requires a deposit. Okay, I have a quick update since I recorded this episode because the welcome offer changed. In addition to the $200 bonus and 0% intro APR, you'll also get an uncapped extra 0.5% cash back on the unlimited cash card for the first year. That makes it a 2% card for the first year only. And while that extra 0.5% isn't eligible for premium rewards, the 1.5% still is. So if you have platinum honor status, you'd be at 2.625% already, plus 0.5% for the first year, making it an unlimited 3.125% cashback card for the first year. Now, it's a no annual fee card, so that's a really incredible amount of cash back. I don't know how long the offer will last. It is up as of re-recording this on September 18th. Okay, back to the episode. Now, next is a card that is very, very similar to the unlimited cash card, and that is the travel rewards card. It's really almost an identical card with a couple of subtle differences. Has a slightly different sign-up bonus. They market it as 25,000 points on a $1,000 spend in 90 days. It also has a 0% APR for 15 months, no annual fee. But differently than the custom cash card, it has no foreign transaction fees. And instead of earning 1.5% on everything, it's marketed as earning 1.5 points on everything. And the sign-up bonus is called 25,000 points, which is effectively $250. But it's not quite as simple as earning cash back because you can only redeem these points as 1 cent as a credit towards travel and dining purchases. So if you spend enough money on travel and dining such that 2.625% of all of your spend is in travel and dining, then you'll have no problem using this card as a cashback card. But if you don't spend that much in travel and dining, then you're going to be stuck with a card that earns a lot of points, but they're a little bit harder to get value out of. That said, you can transfer these points to anyone else's Bank of America Travel Rewards, Premium Rewards, and Premium Rewards Elite card, which I'll talk about next. And that gives it a little flexibility. But ultimately, I don't love this card compared to the next cards. And if you don't travel enough, I don't love this card compared to the unlimited cash card. If you do, I like it a little bit more because there's no foreign transaction fees. So it works anywhere in the world without having to pay those fees. Like the other cards, has a student version that's the same, has a secured version that has no sign-up bonus, no intro APR, and requires a deposit. As for the tier list, I'm going to put it down at the B tier. That's one below the unlimited cash card, just because it's a little bit harder to use. And I think that most people traveling internationally probably have another card that won't charge them foreign transaction fees. So with the exception of one small reason to love this card, which I'll mention in a little bit, I think it's got to be for the average person less interesting than the unlimited cash card. Again, with preferred rewards, you will get 1.75x if you're in Platinum Honors. So yes, this is earning 2.625x points if you have that status. Next, I'm going to talk about the Premium Rewards card. And this is where I think Bank of America really starts to shine. This is a card that earns, just like the unlimited cash card, 1.5% on everything, but it also earns 2% on travel and dining. If you have Platinum Honors, what that means is it's 2.625% on everything and 3.5% on travel and dining. Now it's really starting to be one of the most compelling cards out there for cashback. It has no foreign transaction fees. It does have a $95 annual fee. We'll talk about the benefits that covers. And currently, it has a 60,000 point sign-up bonus on $4,000 spend in 90 days. And for reasons I will never understand, even though this card does earn points, unlike the travel rewards card, those points can be deposited directly into your checking or savings account. So this is truly like a cashback card, even though it is marketed as a points card, unlike the travel rewards card that I just talked about. Now, for that $95 annual fee, aside from getting extra earnings on travel and dining, you get a $100 a year airline credit, which you can use for seat upgrades, baggage fees, lounge fees, in-flight services. There's a lot of different ways to use this. It's not that difficult to use, and it pretty easily negates the annual fee. You also get your TSA pre or global entry covered, and it does have some decent travel protections. You get trip delay, cancellation, interruption, baggage delay, lost luggage, emergency evacuation. You get purchase protection, extended warranty, and return protection. You do get rental car coverage, but it's secondary, and you do get access to the Visa Signature Luxury Hotel Collection, but I wouldn't call that a huge perk. I'm going to put this card at the A tier, not because I don't really like it, but because I like the next card the most. I think it's the best cashback card that Bank of America has, and it's definitely, I can preview this, it's going to be an S tier card. It's the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite card. And on the surface, it's very, very similar. It also earns 1.5% on everything, 2% travel and dining, or with Platinum Honors, that's 2.625% on everything and 3.5% on travel and dining. Same no foreign transaction fees. Bigger sign-up bonus, 75,000 points, which is effectively $750 on 5,000 spend in 90 days. However, there are a few differences. The annual fee is higher, the benefits are higher, and there's one really cool perk. So the annual fee is $550. The benefits bump the airline credit up from $100 to $300. And there are a lot of ways to get usage of this airline credit. There's a lot of posts online of things that code for this airline credit, so it shouldn't be too hard to get use. It also has a $150 a year lifestyle credit, And that covers any video streaming, food delivery, fitness subscriptions, ride sharing. So if you add those up, you're at $450. And I think that those are not difficult to use. There are a lot of credits out there that are really tough to call valuable at face value. In this case, I think you might end up using all of these credits without even knowing it. And halfway through the year, I often notice that exact same thing. You get your TSA pre and global entry reimbursed. You also get 4 priority pass memberships. That's not 4 entries. That is 4 different memberships for priority pass, meaning if you had a family of 4, you could create a priority pass membership for every single person in your family, and they don't need to go get their own credit card to have that membership. But even better than that is that this is one of the rare priority pass memberships that still allows restaurant access. So even though me and my wife both have other cards with our priority pass memberships, we do not have a card that gives access to all the priority pass restaurants. And so 2 of these 4 memberships are for us, and they're our primary priority pass memberships. The next benefit is where I think this card really, really shines. And that is that if you use your points to book flights, domestic or international, in any class in the Bank of America travel portal, you get 20% off when you pay with points. That means that for a $1,000 flight, instead of needing to spend $1,000 or 100,000 points, you could spend $800 or 80,000 points. So you could look at it as a 20% discount, or you could look at it as a 25% premium, because if you take 1,000 divided by 800, you get 1.25. And that really boosts the value of this card. So if you assume that all the cash back and points you're earning on this card are able to be used to book flights through the Bank of America travel portal, which in my experience comes with the same prices you'd get everywhere else, but it does come with one downside, which is when you book in the travel portal, you often have to manage those flights through the travel portal. So you might have to call Bank of America to make changes. Some airlines are not like this. Some airlines make it easy for you to take over that itinerary with the airline. I know United doesn't do it easily online, but if you use the texting feature with United, you can do it. So it's not always that bad. If you don't have any changes, it's not a problem. If you do have changes, sometimes it's not a problem. Sometimes you have to call Bank of America or use their website to make those changes. However, if you apply that 25% boost to the value of your points, assuming you're going to use those points to book travel, it means that this card, which earns 1.5% everywhere, if you have Platinum Honors, would earn 2.625% everywhere. But that 2.625% gets a 25% boost if you book travel, which makes it a 3.28% everywhere card. And travel, which earns 2% or 3.5% with Platinum Honors, now earns 4.375%. So if you make the assumption that you're going to book enough travel that you can use your points for booking flights, then this is a 3.28% on everything card, plus 4.375% on travel and dining. It really doesn't get better than that. If you want a cashback card, I can't think of any other card in the market that does this well without lots of hoops, without caps on how much you earn. And so I think this is the best cashback card if that is your game, and if you have the ability to qualify for Platinum Honors with $100,000 in a brokerage account or a bank account. So I'm going to make this an S tier card. I think it's really one of the best cards out there if you care about cashback. And it's really made me rethink the everything else category. And would I rather earn 3.28% or 2x miles? And in a lot of cases, I end up using this card as the primary card. Also, even travel and dining, 4.375% is pretty compelling. So this has become a really great card. And I know anyone on Team Cashback should be thinking about it. As for travel protections, they are among some of the best. Frequent Miler just did a review of all the premium travel cards. I'll put a link in the show notes. And while the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Ritz-Carlton card came in number 1, the Bank of America premium cards came in number 2. You get all the trip cancellation, interruption, baggage delay, lost luggage, accident, emergency evacuation, purchase protection, extended warranty, return protection. You get all that. You get primary rental car coverage, and you get rental car status with Avis and National. So like I said, I think this is an S tier card. If you're on Team Cashback and you can meet the requirements for Platinum Honors, I don't see any other card coming close. Love this card. I'm so glad we have it. And we've been really able to use all of our points towards booking flights. So I do feel like we're getting a lot of the value. One last thing about this card, you can earn the extra 25% of value from your points booking the portal. But I mentioned earlier that the travel rewards card earns points instead of cash back, and you can transfer them. So in that case, if you did have the travel rewards card, you could transfer all the points you earn on that card to your Premium Rewards Elite card and be able to use those points to get that extra 25% value. Practically, I don't know why you would do this, because that travel rewards card doesn't earn anything. The Premium Rewards Elite card doesn't. But if you happen to have both of those cards and you didn't want to close the travel rewards and just spend on the Premium Rewards Elite card, you could move those points around so that you're getting more value when you redeem them. So that's the consumer cashback card lineup. Next, let's talk about airline cards. Now, the biggest airline card lineup for Bank of America is Alaska Airlines. Since the rebrand from Alaska's mileage plan, it's now Atmos Rewards. They've rebranded all those cards. The base tier consumer card is now called the Atmos Rewards Ascent card. And it hasn't changed that much functionally as it did when it was just the Alaska card. So if you've had that card, there's not a lot going on differently other than the branding. However, let's run through the card. It's a $95 annual fee, no foreign transactions. You get 3x Alaska miles, or now Atmos points, on Alaska, 2x on gas, EV charging, cable, streaming, transit, including rideshare, and 1x on everything else. However, one really cool perk of all of the Alaska, or now Atmos cards, I gotta retrain my brain, is that you get a 10% bonus on all the points you earn if you have a Bank of America checking account that's been active, I think, in the last 90 days. So effectively, it's 3.3x Alaska, 2.2x on those categories, and 1.1x on everything else. You also earn status as you spend. So for every $3 you spend, you get 1 status point. In 2025, that was capped at 30,000 status points, but next year it will be uncapped. The sign-up bonus right now is pretty great. It's 80,000 points, at least as of recording, which is September 11th. You also get a $99 companion certificate after spending $4,000 in 120 days. Same requirement as the sign-up bonus, the 80,000 points. There are some links online for 85,000 points, so you can Google around and see if you can find them. As for the value of these companion fare certificates, I think you're gonna have to ask yourself how much you actually spend on Alaska booking a round-trip flight. If you're booking a $200 round-trip flight with you and your partner, the partner's flight, instead of $200, will be $99 plus taxes, which are at least $23. So you're looking at spending $122 instead of $200. If you spend $1,000 on flights and you're going to Hawaii, this could be a better deal. Not if you're flying first class, because the companion fares are only available in economy class. So if you spend probably more than $200 or $300 on a round trip ticket every year, they can be valuable. I do have a friend who was struggling to even use his before it expired because he just didn't have any flights on Alaska that he was flying with a partner that year. So depending on your situation, it may or may not be valuable to you. You do also get free checked bags for you and up to 6 guests, and you get priority boarding when you book the flight on the card. TBD whether it also applies to authorized users. I couldn't find an exact answer there. You also get 20% off Alaska in-flight purchases. And if you were to buy an Alaska Lounge membership, you'd get $100 off. As for where to put this on the tier list, the earnings aren't great. There's a lot of cards that earn better on almost all the categories. And compared to the Alaska Summit card, which I'll talk about next, it just blows it out of the water. So I think it's hard to justify using this card unless you spend a ton of money on Alaska. And if you do, I think you'd want the next card. So I'm actually gonna put this in the C tier. This episode is brought to you by Fabric by Gerber Life. So time is funny. We always think we're going to get to things later, but when it comes to life insurance, you really don't want to put it off. And the kind of policy you want to be looking for, at least in my opinion, is a term life policy, which is simple, affordable, and designed to cover exactly what matters most, protecting your family if something unexpected happens. And Fabric makes it incredibly easy. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today, made for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. Fabric has flexible policies to fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. And if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now. And best of all, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there is no risk and you can cancel at any time. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/allthehacks, meetfabric.com/allthehacks, meetfabric.com/allthehacks. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. This episode is brought to you by Delete Me. Did you know that it's legal for data brokers to collect all types of information about you, including tons of personally identifiable information like your name, address, phone number, even your relatives' names, and then sell it to anyone out there with a credit card or even just list it online for free? This can expose you to serious risks like identity theft, scams, phishing attempts, harassment, and doxing. Now, I'm sure you know that data privacy is increasingly a serious concern, which is why I've been trusting Delete Me to protect my privacy online for years. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker and people search websites, reducing the risk of your data getting into the wrong hands. I picked Delete Me because they've been doing this for over 15 years, and they use their own tech to continuously monitor and remove instead of outsourcing it to third parties. And unlike other services, Delete Me verifies your data is on data broker sites before submitting removal requests, reducing the risk of unnecessary data exposure. I've already signed up my whole family for Delete Me, and I feel so much better knowing that we're less of a target online. So if you want to get your personal information removed from the web, go to allthehacks.com/delete me and get 20% off a plan for you or your entire family. Again, that's allthehacks.com/delete me. But this next card I'm really excited about. I already got it. It's the Alaska, or I guess now it's the Atmos Rewards Summit card. For earnings, you get 3x on Alaska, you get 3x on dining, and you get 3x on all foreign transactions, which they categorize as transactions outside of the United States or in transactions in foreign currencies. This opens up all kinds of interesting opportunities. There's no other bonus categories. It's 1% on everything else. You also get that 10% boost if you have a Bank of America checking account. So you can think of it as 3.3x on all those categories, 1.1x on everything else. And instead of spending $3 for every status point, you only have to spend $2 for every status point. So you can get accelerated status points. Another exciting thing right now is that the sign-up bonus is 100,000 points. I have heard that if you find an offer in branch, you might be able to get someone to give you a 105,000 point offer, but pretty exciting offer in the six figures. You also, as part of that sign-up offer, which is spending $6,000 in 90 days, you get a 25,000 point companion certificate, which means that if you're booking a flight with points, your companion gets a 25,000 point discount on the cost of their flight. So if you were to book two 50,000 point awards, you pay 50,000 points for your flight and 25,000 points for your partner. Those companion certificates, I believe, expire a year after they're issued, or maybe it's the end of the second year after they're issued. Let's assume you have at least 1 year to use them, but probably not much more. No fee for authorized users, no foreign transaction fees, but you do have a $395 annual fee. So let's talk about the benefits you get for the card that I think definitely justify the $395 annual fee. So first, you get that 25,000 point companion award every year. So as long as you're booking one flight over 25,000 points with a partner every year, that's effectively 25,000 free point bonus every single year, which depending on how you value Alaska points could probably be anywhere from $250 to, let's call it, $375. You also get 10,000 status points, which gets you halfway towards the lowest tier of Alaska status, which is pretty interesting. You'd only have to spend another $20,000 on the card to get another 10,000 status points, and that would lock in the lowest tier of Alaska status. After spending $60,000 per card member year, you get another companion award for 100,000 points. That means that if you were booking a round trip business class flight to Europe with your partner, where each way was, let's just say 140,000 points. For the primary person, you'd spend 140, and for the second person, you'd only spend 40,000 points. So if you're spending Alaska points, that companion award can be super valuable. So how do I think about the value of this companion award? Well, at a minimum, if you're gonna spend $60,000 on this card, let's assume it's in the everything else category, you would earn 60,000 points. Or if you had a Bank of America checking account, which I'd highly recommend you have if you have this card, you would earn 66,000 points. But you would also get that 100K companion award. So you would effectively get assuming you could maximize the usage of that award, 166,000 points on 60,000 spend, which is 2.77x. Meaning for that first $60,000, again, assuming you can use the 100,000 point companion award, you're earning 2.77 on everything else. If you manage to do that first 60,000 spend in dining or foreign transactions or on Alaska, then it's even better than that. But I just want to flag that if you're traveling with your Alaska points enough that you can use these awards, even if you discounted the award to 70,000 points or less, it still makes spending on this card really compelling. On top of that, every quarter you get 2 Alaska Lounge passes. And anytime you show your card, you get 2 free signature cocktails in the lounge. Also, it unlocks point sharing with up to 10 people. So if you're accumulating points, your partner's accumulating points, maybe your kids are accumulating points or your parents, you can link them all. And with this card, you can move points between all those accounts for free and book all out of the same account. You also get free checked bags for you and up to 6 guests, priority boarding when you book on the card. You get a global entry and TSA pre-credit. Another interesting benefit is you get a $50 instant travel delay credit for cancellations or delays of 2 hours plus. Meaning if either of those things happen, your flight gets canceled, your flight gets delayed more than 2 hours, you should, by having this card, instantly get an email with a $50 travel credit. But one of the other benefits that I think is just amazing about this card, if you don't have Alaska status, is that you get waived fees for same-day confirmed changes. That means that if you were to book a flight at 6 p.m., and you wanted to take the flight at 3 p.m., assuming there is a seat, you can change your flight, assuming you didn't book a saver ticket. This also works at co-terminals in Northern California and Southern California. So I'm experimenting with this a little on a flight I have upcoming, where the flight I want from San Francisco to LAX is quite expensive, but a flight from Oakland down to Ontario is a lot cheaper. And from all the terms I've read, I should be able to change from an Oakland flight to a San Francisco flight, from an Ontario flight to a LAX flight. So I should be able to book a much cheaper flight. And assuming there's still space on the flight I want, I can change it same day with no fees. You also get 2 Wi-Fi passes a quarter, and you get 20% back on in-flight purchases. This is a lot of perks, so sorry to go through all of them. As for the other benefits, it's a Visa Infinite card. So you get the Visa Infinite Luxury Hotel Collection, you get Avis President's Club, National Executive, Hertz 5-star, plus a free spouse driver on Hertz. And you get all the same premium travel protections I mentioned in the Premium Rewards Elite card, which, like that frequent miler post clarified, is one of the best out there, probably second only to the Chase Reserve and the Ritz-Carlton card. I think you do also get that $100 off an Alaska Lounge membership, but because you get 8 passes a year, hopefully that's enough. If you're traveling a lot more, then maybe you need an Alaska Lounge membership, you get that perk as well. So what do I think of this card? If it isn't obvious, I'm a huge fan. I got the card right away, not just for the bonus, but because I think I'll be flying Alaska and being able to use a lot of these things. But one of the reasons I love it is even if you're not flying Alaska, because of all the partners Alaska has, and because a lot of these perks that you get are relevant for booking partner awards. By the way, that 100,000 point and the 25,000 point companion awards, those work for partner flights as well. So you could be booking a flight from New York to Europe on Condor and still use a lot of these perks. So I think this is an S tier card. The benefits more than outweigh the annual fee by a long shot. And if you're spending any money internationally, it's the only card I know of that earns an elevated number of points on foreign transactions. So that's amazing. But if you're going for Alaska status, it's even better. And I'll talk about that at the end. But I'm a huge fan of this card. I'm really excited to have it. And I'm going to be using it a lot for the rest of the year to try to get that 100,000 point companion award and to try to get a little boost to my Alaska status. There are 3 other airline cards that are a little bit less exciting. The first one is the Spirit Airlines card. It's the Free Spirit Travel More World Elite MasterCard. It is a no foreign transaction fee card. You earn 3x on Spirit and 2x on dining, grocery, and 1x on everything else. The annual fee is waived the first year. After that, it's $79. And there's a sign-up bonus right now of 50,000 bonus points, plus a $100 companion flight voucher as long as you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. I'm not too excited about this card, but I'll run through some of the benefits. After spending $5,000 a year, each anniversary year, you get another $100 companion fare certificate. So if you fly Spirit a lot, that's interesting. You get Group 2 priority boarding, and you get a 25% rebate on all in-flight food and beverages. Otherwise, that's kind of it. You can get additional cardholders. They get the priority boarding and the rebate on in-flight purchases. I guess if you fly Spirit a lot, maybe it's interesting, but you're still only getting 3x on Spirit. You're still only getting 2x on dining and grocery. A lot of the perks aren't that exciting. You're not getting special seat selection or anything like that. So I guess if you love Spirit and you fly a lot, maybe the companion certificates are worth it. But I would argue there are a lot more compelling cards you could get that would add more value to your life. So I'm going to put this card at the D tier because I don't really see any reason to get this card. I think even for a Spirit flyer, it might not be that exciting. Next card I'm going to talk about is the Allegiant Always Rewards card. It's similar in that it gets 3x on Allegiant, like the Spirit card, it gets 3x on Spirit. You get 2x on dining, nothing on grocery, except the 1x you get on everything else. No foreign transaction fees, $59 annual fee. The sign-up bonus is even less interesting at 25,000 points, which is just $250 off your future Allegiant trip, as long as you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. And then similarly, you get another annual $100 companion fare after you spend $5,000 a year. Doesn't look like you actually get one of those opening the card. So you have to have the card for a year. You get priority boarding and a free beverage. And anytime you use your card to purchase a vacation package with 4 or more hotel nights or 7 or more rental car days, you get buy one, get one free airfare. I think that's a big stretch to be an exciting perk. But I guess if you're super loyal to Allegiant, maybe you've looked at this card. I've never even flown Allegiant. I don't think anything about this card is that compelling. And so it's also going to be a D tier card for me. Last airline card is the Air France card. And it's the Air France KLM World Elite MasterCard. And if you want to know the benefits of this card and the Spirit card, they're both World Elite MasterCards. So they will come with some of the World Elite MasterCard benefits that you can search online and learn more about. The Air France card is a no foreign transaction fee card. It has an $89 annual fee. And it earns 3x on Air France, KLM, and other SkyTeam member airline flights. And then it earns 1.5 miles on everything else. Now, unless you're an avid Air France flyer, you're not going to be that excited about this card. But let me give you one reason to potentially be excited. And it's not the sign-up bonus. The sign-up bonus is 50,000 points after spending $2,000 in 90 days. But you also get 60,000 experience points, which is the way you earn status on Air France on approval. And then another 20 experience points every account anniversary, and then another 40, totaling 60 each year if you spend $15,000 or more on the card. You also get 5,000 miles every year after you spend $50 or more on the card. So those 5,000 miles should be pretty easy to earn. Good little return on that $50 of spend. So why is this card interesting? It is really only interesting for one use case, and that is you are trying to get Air France status. And if you live in the US, the only real reason to get Air France status is if you're flying to France all the time and you want that boost and you don't get it naturally, or you want to game your way to Air France status because Air France's first class, which I've never flown and I've heard is incredible, is only available to book with a high tier of their status. So I do know a couple people who have tried to get 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of these Air France cards by product changing, by applying again, just so that they can get status on Air France so they can use their points. And Air France is a transfer partner of almost every major currency to book Air France La Première. I would say that's a lot of hoops to jump through. You might be better off booking business class on Air France and hoping you can do a paid upgrade day of. But the one use case for this card that I've seen is people want to accelerate Air France status so they get Air France status so they can book Air France first class with points. Otherwise, this card's not that exciting. Because it has at least one use case, I'm going to put it at the C tier, but I don't imagine most people listening are going to be interested in this card. There are 3 cruise cards with Bank of America. And best I can tell, there's not a single interesting thing about all of them. They're even less compelling than the Spirit and Allegiant cards. So I'm going to skip running through them and I'm just going to put them all at the D tier. They're for Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Norwegian. Best I could tell, other than Norwegian, they all only earn 2x of the cruise line's points on cruise line purchases. And so they're really, really uncompelling. I think the Norwegian card earns 3x points on Norwegian cruises. So if you cruise a lot on Norwegian, maybe there's something there, but definitely not a card I'm excited about. So let's move on quickly to the business cards. Again, for people who haven't listened before, many of you out there have businesses and you're not even thinking about it. And so I would encourage people not to just assume they don't have a business, because if you do some freelance work, maybe you have a blog or a social media presence that you monetize, or maybe one day you might monetize it. Maybe you're doing some consulting, or maybe you have some knowledge and skills and one day you might do some consulting. As long as you're pursuing a business, even if it doesn't have revenue yet, I think you're eligible to apply for a business card. You don't need to have an EIN or a registered business. You can use your social security number as a sole proprietor. This episode is brought to you by Copilot Money. I love knowing how much I'm spending and in what categories, not because I necessarily want to budget every dollar, but because it helps me be confident about planning for our financial future. And if you want to do the same, you have to check out Copilot Money. It's one of my favorite apps. I check it almost every day because it makes it so easy to manage your money, track your spending and investments, and cash flow. And I've tried dozens of these apps to figure out what I liked the most. I even made a whole episode about it, but Copilot Money is the only one I've been able to keep using because I love their UI and they have a great AI expense categorization. It's the best I've used. You can completely design your spending categories and subcategories and easily set up rules to assign transactions to them in the future. Thanks to Copilot, I don't think I've ever had a better grasp on our spending, which I'm pretty sure has resulted in saving thousands of dollars every year. So for the best app to track your spending, subscriptions, and investments, go to allthehacks.com/copilot on an iPhone or Mac to download Copilot and enter code HACKS2 during onboarding for a 2-month free trial. Again, that's allthehacks.com/copilot and the code HACKS2 for a free 2-month trial of my favorite personal finance app. Thank you for being here today. You can find all the links, promo codes, and discounts from all our partners at allthehacks.com/deals. They're all brands I love and use, so please consider supporting those who support us. So let's run through the business cards. It's a very similar lineup to the personal cards. So like there was a personal customized cash card, there is a business customized cash card. It also earns 3% in the chosen categories. And so I'll run through those categories. But the biggest change is on this card, that 3% and 2% earnings goes up to $50,000 a year instead of $2,500 a quarter. Before we jump in that, $0 annual fee, 3% foreign transaction fee. The sign-up bonus right now is $300 after you spend $3,000 in 90 days. You do get a 0% intro APR right now, and that intro APR is for 9 billing cycles instead of 15 on the consumer. So let's run through the categories. So you get 3% on your chosen category. You can change once a month. It's a similar list of categories, but a little bit more geared towards business. So you've got gas station and EV charging, office supply stores, travel, TV, telecom, and wireless, computer services, and business consulting services. And I've noticed that a lot of business purchases code as business services, which falls into that business consulting services category. And so I picked up one of these cards because we pay a few different freelance companies to help with the podcast, and we hit that business services category. And because we have Platinum Honor status, which I'll talk about in a second for businesses, that 3% goes up to 5.25% on $50,000 a year. So unlike the personal card where you're getting an extra 2.625% on $10,000, here you're getting an extra 2.625% on $50,000, which is about $1,300. So to me as a business, this card is worth a $1,300 sign-up bonus every single year. You also get 2% back at dining, and that 2 and all those 3% are part of that $50,000 a year limit. I also like that it's $50,000 a year, so you don't have to manage how much did I spend in a quarter. And then it's 1% on everything else. So I really like this card. If you have a business and you spend in those categories and you spend enough to hit that $50,000 cap, it's like getting a sign-up bonus every single year. So because the cap is so much higher than the personal card, I'm going to put this card in the A tier above the personal version of this card, which is in the B tier. And one thing to clarify on preferred rewards is that it is tied to the person or the business. So just because you have $100,000 in your Merrill Lynch brokerage account does not mean you have Platinum Honors status on your business cards. In order to get Platinum Honors or any preferred reward status for business, you need to put that money in a business account. For the first year, that's pretty easy because you can do the fast track. You could deposit $100,000 if you had access to it, and you don't have to leave it in there the whole year or even 3 months. But when it comes time for year 2, you actually have to put the money in there for 3 months so you meet that rolling 3-month window. And unfortunately, leaving money in a Bank of America checking account isn't all that compelling. So you really have 2 options. One, you just call the lost interest in that checking account the cost of getting your preferred reward status. You could use a CD or an interest-bearing product from Bank of America for that money. Or you can go through what is a huge pain, but possible, and open up a business investment account with Merrill Lynch. So this is the path I took. I opened up a business investment account with Merrill Lynch. It took me like 6 different tries to get the application correct. But once it was correct, it was opened and approved, and I was able to fund a business investment account, and I can put that cash into stocks or securities or just buy a treasury ETF like SGov. So we keep some of our business cash in that account so that we're able to maintain the preferred reward status for the business, which makes our customized cash card not a 3% on $50,000, but a 5.25% card on $50,000. So next is the Business Unlimited Cash Card, and it's almost identical to the Personal Unlimited Cash Card. It's a $0 annual fee card that earns 1.5% on everything, or 2.625% with Platinum Honors. Still has a 3% foreign transaction fee. The sign-up bonus on the business card is $300 after you spend $3,000 in 90 days, and you get the 0% intro APR for 9 months or 9 billing cycles. And so with Preferred Rewards, if you're able to get that for your business and you have Platinum Honors, this becomes a 2.625% card on everything. And so I guess you could make a case that there just aren't a lot of cashback cards at that level for businesses. And so I'm actually in real time going to say that I think this card might need to be an S tier card. And the reason why is there just isn't a way that I'm aware of to get 2.625% back on your business. So if you have a business that spends a ton of money and you don't want to play the points game and you just want cash back, and you have a big enough business that you can put $100,000 into an account at Bank of America or Merrill Lynch, I don't know if there's a better cashback card out there. Totally uncapped. It's possible to get high limits with Bank of America. I will talk about that. So I think this card is just, it's got to be an S tier card for a business in that circumstance because I can't think of any other card that comes close. The next business card is the Business Travel Rewards Card, and it's just like the Personal Travel Rewards Card, and it's just like the Business Unlimited Cash Card. You get 1.5x on everything. Unlike the unlimited cash version, you get no foreign transaction fees, same no annual fee, has a 30,000 point, which is effectively worth $300 sign-up bonus after you spend $3,000 in 90 days, and a 0% APR for 9 months. So effectively, it's almost the same card, except like the personal version, you have to redeem those points as credit towards travel and dining purchases. So for a business, that could be even more difficult if you don't have that much spend for travel and dining for your business. And so I don't love this card as much as I love the unlimited cash card for the average person trying to find a high tier cashback card for their business. However, if you have the personal Premium Rewards Elite card, you can transfer your points from your business travel rewards card to your personal Premium Rewards Elite card and get that extra 25% boost. So for that reason, I love this card, and this is a card I have and use. But for the average person who's not playing that transfer game and opening up multiple cards, I think it just adds a little bit more complication to the system. As for how to rank this card, at first glance, the only positive this has over the unlimited cash card is that you have no foreign transaction fees, but the negative is huge because you don't get cash back. You get points that you have to redeem as a credit towards travel and dining, which may be harder for businesses. So that would make me put this card at the B tier. I see almost no reason to get this card over the Business Unlimited Cash, with one exception. And that exception is actually the circumstance I'm in. And if you fall into this exception, then I'd have to put this card at the S tier as well. However, if you don't, I'm going to keep this card at the B tier. And that exception is if you also have the Premium Rewards Elite card. I mentioned earlier how you can transfer your points from the Travel Rewards to the Premium Rewards Elite card. Now, if you had both of those personal cards, I'm not sure why you would want to do that. You'd be better off just spending all of your money on the Premium Rewards Elite card. But if you have a business and you want to keep those transactions separate, there is no Premium Rewards Elite card for the business. However, the travel rewards points you earn on the business card can be transferred from your business travel rewards to your personal Premium Rewards Elite, and you can use those points to book travel at that 25% premium. So if you're looking for a cashback card for your business and you're willing to cash out all the earnings for your business purchases, booking flights through the personal Premium Rewards Elite card, then if you have Platinum Honor status, this effectively becomes a 3.28% on everything business card. In that circumstance, this is an S tier card. However, in order to do that, you need to have the personal Premium Rewards Elite card. You need to be willing to transfer the rewards from your business card to your personal card, and you need to use them to book travel. That is precisely what I'm doing. And for me, this is an S tier card. However, because most people are not going to go through all those hoops, I would call this a B tier card. And I would strongly say if you don't want to go through those hoops, the unlimited cash card is the card to get unless you're spending a lot of money overseas on foreign purchases. Then that might be a reason to push you over the edge to get this card for the business. The last and final card I'm going to run through is the Alaska Atmos Rewards Business Card. And it effectively has the same perks and benefits and features of the personal Atmos Ascent card, the basic card. It's a no foreign transaction fee card that earns 3x on Alaska. The categories on earnings are slightly different. You get 2x on gas and EV charging, shipping and transit and rideshare, and then 1x on everything else. You also get that 10% bonus if you have a Bank of America business checking account. And you also earn 1 status point for every $3 you spend, where that's capped at 30,000 status points this year, but it will be uncapped next year. The sign-up bonus right now is also 80,000 points plus a $99 companion fare. There might be places online you can find a link for an 85,000 point sign-up offer. And to get those, you have to spend $3,000 in 90 days. The benefits are similar. You get another annual $99 companion fare every year that you spend $6,000. You get free checked bags for up to 6 guests, priority boarding. That does include employee cards. You get 20% back on in-flight purchases and $100 off a lounge membership. The only other difference that's slightly strange is this card has a $70 annual fee plus a $25 per card annual fee. So when you get this card, you will have a $95 total annual fee for one of the cards, but it's split between $70 and $25. So something to keep in mind, if you get employee cards on this card, you will have an extra fee for each card. As for the ranking of this card, I similarly don't love it as much as the personal Atmos Rewards card. If you are trying to spend your way to status and you need to do it on a business card, I could make a case for this card. Otherwise, I think it's a low earning card and there's a better option for Alaska. And honestly, I've got a choice between earning 1.1x Alaska points or 2.625% cash back for my business. I would go with the unlimited cash card and get the cash back. So I'm going to also put this card at C tier, just like I put the other Alaska Ascent card or the Atmos Ascent card. So that's it for the tier list. If you want to take a look at it and you're not watching video on Spotify or YouTube, you can go look in the show notes and I'll link to an image of the tier list so you can have it and take a look. I hope that was helpful. Now I want to run through a few more notes on Bank of America, applying for cards, some of the nuance of the bank that you need to know about. So when it comes to applying for cards, they have this 2-3-4 rule where you can open a maximum of 2 cards every 2 months, 3 cards every 12 months, and 4 cards every 24 months. So keep that in mind as you're spacing out your Bank of America applications. Similar to the Chase 524 rule, it seems like you're not going to get approved for a card if you've opened 3 or more cards with any bank in the past 12 months. They call it the 312 rule. However, if you have a Bank of America checking account, the rule becomes the 712 rule, and you can open up a Bank of America card if you haven't opened 7 accounts in the past 12 months. There are some varying opinions on enforcement here, but the short answer is if you're trying to get approved for Bank of America cards, you have much higher likelihood if you open a Bank of America checking account, put some money in there, maybe it's a couple $1,000s before you apply for cards. There's also a 24-month rule. With some cards, you may have to wait 24 months after opening or maybe even after canceling to be eligible for approval on the same card. It really varies card to card and sometimes person to person. There are some business cards that you can't get twice. And then some people I know have gotten the same card multiple times, but they had to wait 2 years. So I would search online if you're trying to get the same card over and over again. For example, you're trying to play the Air France XP game. There's also a 5 consumer card limit. So if you already have 5 consumer Bank of America cards, you're probably not going to get approved. Given the number of cards they have, I feel like it's hard to get to 5 consumer cards. One thing that I have seen work well is that hard inquiries are often combined when they are initiated within 30 days of each other. So one thing that is nice about Bank of America is that oftentimes they combine the hard inquiry when you apply for a card. If you apply for another card the same day, or some people say up to 30 days. So I often see people who are looking to go for a couple Bank of America cards, maybe it's personal and business, going for all of them at the same time, at least 2 or 3 of them. So those hard inquiries all get combined. They also have a reconsideration line that you can call. I know I had to call on the Atmos Summit card to try to figure out what was going on there. They also allow you to reallocate credit between cards, but it's a little bit of a slow process. I did call to do that yesterday between a few business cards, and they submitted the requests. But unlike Chase, where it just gets approved and instantly happens, I'm waiting, and I don't know how long I'll wait. They actually told me I should wait till I got a letter in the mail. But with Bank of America, if you request a credit line increase, they say, we'll let you know with a letter in the mail, but you can also refresh the app or the website, and you'll usually find out within a couple minutes. So unclear if you can reallocate credit between personal and business. I haven't tried that. Also, you can product change between cards, but I think you have to wait 1 year, but it might take some hanging up and calling again to get someone that'll be able to do it. Only other few nuances about Bank of America. One, on the business side, every card has 2 accounts when you log in, a corporate account, which is the base account, and then another card account. And so it's just confusing. You log in and you see 2 accounts for every Bank of America business card, and all the statements show up on the corporate account, all the transactions show up on the card account. It's just kind of a pain with their UI. My wife hates their customer service. Every time she calls for something, she has a problem. I've had nothing but amazing reps that make everything so easy, and she hates it because I'll be in the same room, I'll call Bank of America, I'll have a great experience, and then later she'll call and have a terrible experience. So I can't speak to it, but I feel remiss if I say customer service is great because of the experiences she's had. You get a free FICO score on your personal side. You get a free business credit score on the business side. And while it's not the easiest process, combining your business and personal accounts into one login is possible. The one thing that is not possible, though I know they are recently changing their billing system, is it seems really hard to pay your bill on a credit card if you're not paying it from a Bank of America account. There is a way to set it up, but it's not the most obvious. And so I would just say they really should work on that. But they're also either recently have or are about to launch a new bill pay system. So hopefully that fixes all of that. A few other things. Credit limits with Bank of America are really healthy. So sometimes there are issuers known for low credit limits. I've been able to increase over the last, it's not even been 2 years, the total credit limits on all of my cards to over $100,000. And the initial limit that my wife got on her Premium Rewards Elite card was $20,000 or $30,000. And that's been able to go up to, I think, $40,000 or $45,000. And I have friends that have gotten those credit line increases up to $100,000 on some of their cards. So Bank of America is really generous with credit lines over time. And you can call in every 90 days, or at least it takes at least 90 days. And I didn't see any hard inquiries on those credit line increases. Sometimes I've done them online. You can also do them on the phone. 2 other quick things. They do have card-linked offers. They call it BankAmeriDeals. When I logged in on a personal card, I saw 140 total offers, but they're mostly online only. And they're pretty similar to what you'd get with Rakuten, except they're actually not as compelling. There are a few that are retail, meaning you can use your physical card. And I did see Uniqlo had a 10%, Osprey had a 10%, but for the most part, they're online and not that exciting. In fact, we've never used any of them except one. They had an online offer where if you used the portal, you could generate a 10% off code for Wayfair. So that was cool. And when it comes to food, they're mostly lower end places to eat. Carl's Jr., Burger King, Subway, Little Caesars. So that wasn't that exciting. I did see 10% at Shake Shack. It seems like Shake Shack's on every card linked offer. So not a lot to get excited about in the Bank of America card linked offers and deals. And then on the business side, instead of 140, I found 115. And everything I thought was kind of interesting on the personal side was missing from the business side. So the business offers seem totally useless. Last big perk, which I love about Bank of America, is that on the first full weekend of the month, you can get into 235 museums across the country. They're in 41 different states. They include the Met in New York, the MoMA in New York, the Intrepid in New York, Japanese Gardens in Portland, which I've been to and they're awesome, the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, which is really cool if you haven't been there, all for free by having a Bank of America, Merrill Lynch credit card or debit card. The only catch is there are no guests. So you need a card for each person, which is why we're probably going to add either authorized users or checking accounts for our kids just so they have a debit card so that we can get them into all these museums for free as well. And there are no monthly maintenance fees on an account when the owner is a child or is under 25 years. So they have this Safe Balance account for family banking for age 6+ and a Safe Balance banking 13+. So that's something we're looking into to get the kids debit cards so they can get into the museums for free as well. So that's Bank of America. My quick summary. I think Bank of America right now has the best cashback card lineup out there, assuming you're able to meet the requirements to hit their platinum honors or higher status and get that 1.75x boost to all your earnings on their cards. To be able to get 2.625% on everything, or if you get that Premium Rewards Elite card, bump that up to 3.28%. Or even if you don't want to book your flights in the portals and you have that card, you're getting 3.5% on travel and dining. That's amazing. I'm not aware of any cards that are that uncapped high earning with the ability to get really high limits. And on the business side, I'm not aware of any that go over 2%. So really, really incredible lineup for cashback. On the Alaska side, the new Summit card is also awesome. Love that card. What's less exciting? Really hard to get outsized value on cashback, but you could just buy points if you want with all the cashback you're earning. Talked a little bit about that in the episode about what points are worth recently. Also, the Bank of America IT department could really use an upgrade. The app, the website, not the best. It does let you do some of the basic things that you'd want to do. It even has the ability to get your card number after you've applied before it's arrived to your house. I did that with the Summit card. It seems like it has most of the features, but it seems like they're all bolted on to really, really old school infrastructure. So something to keep in mind. But overall, I'm really stoked with Bank of America lately, and I'm really excited to have a lot of their cards and be spending a lot on them. Okay, so that's my summary of Bank of America. Obviously, you could tell I'm a big fan. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to keep doing some of these deep dives. Hopefully, I'll be able to do one on Built once they launch their 3 new cards. If you have any questions, follow-ups, podcast@allthehacks.com. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. That's it for this week. I will see you next week.